right, we are back for another episode of Bleducation. I am Brando.
And I'm Mia.
All right, and let's just jump right into what we are chatting about today.
I'm so excited. I'm going to learn things today. All right,
All
take
right.
it away.
Yes. So today we are going to talk about Texas and Mexico.
Texas is the best state.
Did you know that it's okay?
It's the best.
It's not really my favorite. I live
the
here.
best. I'm going to say,
the cost of living's okay here.
I'm a native, born and raised. It's the best. It's the best.
Not me. Okay.
Tapas,
I don't think I'll
anyway,
ever...
get to your point.
Okay.
Get to your point.
Sorry. Well, we're talking about Mexico and Texas today, and if you didn't know, they kind of used to be the same thing. All right. So just to give a little bit of background. Okay. So back in the day, Mexico used to be owned by. You want to take a guess?
Spain.
Yeah, because they speak Spanish. Yeah. All right.
Also, Spain owned like everything.
Yeah, they did. They owned the whole lot.
That was crazy.
Conquistadors. They conquering all the things. Yep, all the things. Okay. All right. So Mexico used to be owned by Spain. Okay. Mm-hmm. So of course, Spain decides to put a caste system in place because we came over here to conquer this land. We got to show them who's boss, okay?
Period.
So this caste system is going to consist of 4 different tiers. At the top, you're going to have these people called peninsulares, okay? The peninsulares are people that were actually born in Spain. They got on a little boat and they came over to Mexico and they were like, yeah, it's us. We rule everything, okay? So they are at the top, okay? Mm-hmm. Then they start having babies because that's what you do, all right? When 2 people love each other, they start having babies.
Birds and the bees, ask your parents.
Yep, okay? All of those things, all right? So those people that were born in the New World are actually called Criollos. Criollos. Say it with me, Criollos.
Criollos.
Okay? It sounds like a spell from Harry Potter or something.
Like
Criollos,
Leviosa,
something like that, yeah. So the Criollos are going to be right underneath the peninsulares. Mm-hmm. Both of these groups of people are very fair-skinned. They have privilege, okay?
So is this like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is this like Creoles? Like almost type of connections? We all know that word. Is that the type of situation we're dealing with?
Yeah. Something,
not the same mixture, but you feel me?
Yeah, but we're working on it.
Right, yeah, we got it.
Then below that, okay, but white people, they like a little chocolate sometimes, so then,
a little half a hand.
So then we got a little mixed class right below called the mestizos and the mulattoes, not to be confused with Big Lotto. We like her, but not to be confused with her, but we have the mulattoes and the mestizos that are going to be on the level on the 3rd tier, okay? And that's where you kind of start seeing they are not enslaved, but they are free, but they really don't have a lot of opportunities and privilege, okay? Then at the very bottom, we have the Native Americans and the black people.
You always gotta be the bro. They don't nobody like us. That's crazy.
It's okay.
That's really crazy.
But started from the bottom, now we here.
I like what you did though. I like what you did with that.
So this is also going to be the beginning of what we see in colorism. So this is the first time, especially with that mestizo class.
So like when we talk about colorism, is this like colorism that just like I like the way you look, I want to have babies with you, or is this like colorism like I hate you, you're not going to be able to do anything or elevate in society, or are we looking at both?
The second one. Let's focus on the second one a little bit more.
So we're looking at this idea of like white people kind of being the ruling class here and making the rules and being able to do what they want. And it's so crazy though when you really look at like this idea of white privilege, because they colonize everything, they really do like take over every space and apply that to every space that they're in. Like it really blows my mind sometimes because, I studied history, obviously, and so when you look at, like, the different breakdown of colonization, literally they are everywhere. They've conquered all these spaces, and so when they get there, not only do they conquer, but they take over, and they influence them to a point to where they can't even tell where they came from naturally or, like, what they did naturally because of the influence of whiteness. And even, like, looking at, I'm sorry, I'm spiraling here, but looking at, like, the Caribbean Sea in that area, what you see happen there is they did it with monetary funds. So at first they weren't even just going over there like taking their things in person. They're just like, well, we're just going to invest, okay? We're going to invest in all your banks. So you need us, and then we're going to go over there, okay? The same thing they did with Hawaii. Like, poor Hawaii, bless their hearts.
You know what? We're not supposed to go there.
I know, I'm so sorry, but like...
Okay.
But
yes. Okay.
Anywho, sorry.
Back it up. All right. All right. So you actually, it gets to the point where, like, obviously, as in any good revolution, the poor people are going to get pissed off. They're not going to keep dealing with this. Okay. Especially, when you're at the bottom, you have nowhere to go except for up to the top. So you can do it a couple of different ways. You can ask nicely, or you can choose violence. And violence is just a lot more interesting.
I wake up and choose violence every day.
So you have this guy. His name is Father Hidalgo. All right, bless his heart. He is a Catholic priest. All right, and he is in the Criollos class, so he's actually,
pretty kind of up there, right? That was the second tier from the top, right?
Yeah, he's comfortable.
Right.
He's comfortable, right? But what he doesn't like is just he does not like how slaves and natives are being mistreated. It just really, really bothers him.
Shout out to him for
and
being
so
a realist.
he could have just stayed in his comfortable position, but he chose to do something about it. So he's going to give this speech. It's going to be called Grito de Dolores, okay?
Grito de
and basically, no one knows what he says in this speech because it was a speech, because he didn't write it down. He just kind of came.
It was a verbal. Okay,
got
got
off the
you.
top
Off
of
the
the dome, right? Whatever he said, though, it was enough to get the people going. All right, it's provocative. It gets the people going. Okay, all right. So he gives this speech, basically saying "Hey, are y'all just going to continue to just be slaves? Are y'all going to do something about this? Go get a pitchfork.
I actually love this. I love this.
Go get a shovel. Go do something about it. You're not going to be given your freedom.
You got to take it.
You have to take it. You have to fight for it.
That's
all right. So
Father.
it's literally going to revolutionize these lower classes to the point where they are going to revolt, okay? And poor Father Hidalgo, because a year later, the feds, the Spanish feds, they was looking for him. They got him.
Just for being a revolutionary?
Oh yeah, that's called treason, actually. They caught your boy and they executed him by firing squad immediately. But anyways, it was too late though because
he had to go. I just got to know him.
He had to go.
That's crazy.
But it's too, he ignited a spark. Okay, so you have Spain and Mexico at this point in open war for about 10 years, really, to be completely honest with you. And what eventually happens is that Mexico wins. Yay, Mexico. All right, so Mexico is going to win. But we got some problems, all right? Because wars...
I already know. They broke.
They broke.
I already know.
Wars cost money. What you gonna pay for in a war?
Okay, so... Oh my God, you know how to get me. So when you go to war, you literally have to pay for everything. Even back in the day. So you have to supply clothing, blankets, food, shoes, all the things, ammo, guns, all of the things. Okay, and that's the horses. Back in the day, carriages. You feel me? All that stuff is so expensive. And back then they're using cannons and things like that. So not only are you buying ammunition for your guns, but you're buying them for cannons, which are going to be way more expensive. You have to make sure that you have cannons. At this time, we're doing a lot of fighting. This one not particularly, but at this time we're doing a lot of fighting on water, so we need a lot of boats and things like that, and that stuff do not come cheap, especially back in the day. And if you don't have your own manufacturers, that means that you're outsourcing. So not only are you having to pay to get these particular items, but now you're having to pay somebody to make them, which is why a lot of people rely on military industrialization, which is basically United States. Hey, that's how we get our bread and butter. We make our own things at home, so when we do go to war, we can just increase factory production, we're getting jobs, we're making money, and we still got stuff for war.
Perfect.
But again, if you are not prepared for war, that is going to hit you in your pockets, which is why a lot of people, when we look at Cuban Missile Crisis, things like that, you know what? They can target us all they want to, but if we're not ready for war, we don't have the bread for war, we're not going to war, because you will be absolutely destitute after it ends.
Okay, yes.
United States,
it's called economic instability, okay?
And it's a thing.
That is the fancy way of saying, we are broke. Help me,
we
please.
We cannot afford it, and we can't take out no more loans from nobody.
No more, no Sally Mae, no nothing, okay?
Nothing.
No net, none of that. All right, so Mexico is broke, okay? So they have to figure out a way to make some money, okay? So what their solution is to pimp out Texas.
That was a bad idea.
So Texas at this time is definitely still a part of Mexico. Okay. So as Tamia says, Mexico is going to turn to the United States for some help, okay?
And that, y'all, mistake.
Big mistake, okay? So they're going to reach out to wealthy landowners, Anglos, which is a fancy word for white people. Yes.
Anglo-Saxons.
But they're going to reach out to them, and they're going to say, hey, you, we have some nice land down here for you. So what we'll do is we will sell you the land for the cheap, and you come down here, all right, and you cultivate this land, all right,
make it nice.
and then if you grow something, you give us a percentage, and we can do some business.
Right.
How about that? And so during this time, too, you have to look at the United States, okay? So the United States is a fairly young country,
Yeah,
okay?
super young at this
And
point.
they're starting to expand, okay? But mainly along the coast, all right, it's pretty crowded.
Yeah.
Okay? And with crowding, you're going to get things like disease, you're going to get an increase in crime,
Yeah.
different things like that. So you're going to see some people jump at this opportunity. They're going to be called impresarios. And impresarios, their job is basically to be a real estate agent, okay? Is to convince all these other white families, hey, come on down. All right, so we have Stephen F. Austin. Shout out to the city of
That's what I was
Austin.
about to say, and then SFA is in NAC. That's where Mom went.
Yes. So you have Stephen F. Austin, who is going to be really, really good at doing this, all right? He is going to have about 300 families that he's going to be able to bring into Texas, okay? So the rules were Mexico, so Texas is still technically a part of Mexico, okay? So the rules are this for the white people. These are the rules, okay? You have to be Catholic, okay? Because that's Mexico's national religion at the time.
Okay.
All right. You need to be speaking Spanish because that is our language at the time to speak.
Feelings
okay.
about all of this,
no slavery because Mexico just fought a war
Zero
to
feelings
get
about
rid
that,
of the castes.
period.
They just fought a war to
Period.
get rid of slavery. Okay. So no slavery. Okay. And you have to be renounce your American citizenship because you're living in Mexico at the time. Okay. So
That's wild.
yeah. Just
Okay.
that's simple.
I'm sorry, question. So, did we actually agree to this, or were we just kind of, okay, did we agree verbally and then get over there and be like, actually,
Yes.
is that what happened? Because,
That's
yeah,
exactly
that
what
sounds like some American things. It sounds like what we would do.
So the thing is, okay, if you look at Texas on a map, Texas is pretty far north compared to where Mexico City is, which is the capital of Mexico. And so basically what ends up happening is these families start coming in, and let's not ignore the fact that natives are already living on this land, right? But we don't care about them, all right? So these white people are just kicking out these natives, different things like that. So we have a couple of things that are going to start happening, right? So we have something called the Fredonian Rebellion, okay? So in the Fredonian Rebellion, you have this guy, his name is Hayden Edwards, okay? So Hayden Edwards is pretty much going to, he's an impresario, so his job is to get these families moved onto this land, right? So he likes a particular piece of land, and so, but the problem is that we already have natives that are living there, and we have Mexicans that are living there called Tejanos, all right? So he is literally going to blackmail them into giving up their land, right? Okay, so they are going to get upset, and they're going to travel down to the Mexican government. They're going to complain about this to the Mexican government. Hayden Edwards is going to get investigated. He's going to get fired. You are about to lose your job, all right? So he's going to get fired, all right? Hayden Edwards, instead of taking his L, he gets pissed off, and he's like, you know what? Well, screw you, Mexico. Like, we don't need you anyway. I'm actually going to form my own country called Fredonia, okay? So he attempts to form his own country. He actually reaches out to Stephen F. Austin for a little bit of help. Stephen F. Austin is pissed. Right? He is like, you and your foolishness, you are not about to mess up my bag. You are not about to mess up my bag. And so Mexico at this point in time is mobilizing because they are on their way to come get Mr. Edwards, okay? But Stephen F. Austin says, hold up, I got him. I'm going to get him first. So Hayden Edwards actually Hayden Edwards actually ends up running away, right? So he does not get caught. But this rebellion, so the rebellion, nothing really happens in the rebellion. But Mexico is now looking at Texas like, what y'all doing up here? Like, it's a side eye. So Mexico now is suspicious. They are now suspicious of Texas, right? So if I'm suspicious, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send a spy. Okay. So they're gonna send the spy. His name is Mir Iteran. He is really good friends with some people that are pretty high up in the Mexican government. He's going to spy on these Anglos and figure out what they're doing. He's going to find out that they are not following any of these rules, okay?
But, like, did they expect them to?
I mean, I think that they wanted to trust them, but no.
Well, they're Americans.
That is not what happened.
Never trust them.
So he finds out the biggest thing that's happening is that slavery, okay?
Of course.
Slavery.
Yeah.
Like, these white people are bringing their slaves, okay? Cotton is very, very, very predominant in Texas at the time. So, like, like, we're going to bring our slaves, okay?
Right.
So he goes back and he tells Mexico, he snitches, and he goes and tells them, like, they actually are not following any of the rules that they're supposed to be following. And so, as a result, Mexico creates something called the Law of April 6, 1830, where they are actually going to ban immigration completely. No more white people. No more white people in Texas. You are not allowed to come into Texas. And the irony is that white people continue to come into Texas. That we're just like, we do not care about this law. So it's very ironic that when we talk about illegal immigration, because like back in the day, white people were actually illegally immigrating into Mexico.
I just imagine it's this spy coming over and like going back and pulling out this like book, like let me actually tell you.
Let me tell you what happened.
It's a book full of stuff that they've been over there doing that you said do not do. I can just imagine that in my head.
Yeah. So the white people are pretty pissed off about this law, even though they're not following it.
I was gonna say, I
don't understand. Yeah, like they're not even following the rules, so I don't even know why they're mad. They're still doing their thing. But Mexico is definitely I am not the two. I am the one. So they're starting to send military forces to make sure that these rules are enforced.
Right.
The white people are upset. You know, they're like, oh no, like feelings, things like that. So at this point, the white people feel like we need to do something about this. So they have a convention, all right, and they decide that they have a list of demands and they have some grievances, okay, and they're going to take these complaints down to Mexico City, all right. And they're going to see if they can negotiate about some things. They want to keep slavery. They want to be able to speak English. They want to be able to practice whatever religion they want. And
literally everything that they told them not to do.
Yeah. Well, okay. So to play devil's advocate, and I hate to do it, but you have to look at like what country they're coming from.
Right.
They're coming from America, where
they fled because of religious persecution.
And the First Amendment protects religious freedom, and now they're literally traveling.
But also, though, they're traveling to a land that is not a part of America, and one of the biggest issues with Americans is that we feel like what rules apply in America should apply everywhere, but that is just not the standard. Like, we do not have universal law. So, like, period, shut up and do what they say.
I mean, yes, I absolutely agree with that. So they have this convention. They come up with this list of things that they want to change, all right? And they go to one of my favorite people ever. His name is Antonio Santa Anna, all right? So Santa Anna is crazy, okay? So he at the time, he's pretty lit, though. He, at the time, is going to pretty much be in charge of the Mexican government. He becomes president because also after Mexico gets their independence, not only are they broke, but they go through a period of political instability because everybody wants to be president, okay? So you have people that are getting assassinated after like 1 or 2 months in office and stuff like that. Santa Anna says, we're just going to go ahead and stop that. And actually, Santa Anna actually goes and takes power. He changes the government from a federalist government, which is a government where the people share power with the government, and he changes it to a more centralist government, which is a fancy word for he's a dictator and he's in charge.
I was going to ask to confirm, but I thought that's what that meant.
So he is going to be a dictator. So Stephen F. Austin is actually going to come down to Mexico City with this list of all the things, and he's gonna try to meet with Santa Anna so that they can kind of reason. All right. Santa Anna makes him wait 3 months to see him. like a good
dictatorship.
Like, he's like, you can see me in 3 months. Right. Okay. So Stephen F. Austin is pretty pissed. All right. They're going to end up having their meeting. And the main thing that Stephen F. Austin is down there for is because Texas wants their independence. Like, they don't have anything in common, even though they're a part of Mexico. They really realize they don't have anything in common with actual Mexico. So they're like, hey, just let us be our own,
little thing. Do our own thing.
So that was their main goal in going down down there and talking to Santa Anna. So Santa Anna actually agrees with most of their demands. He's like, okay, speak English. Okay, if you want to have slaves, like if you want to do these things, cool, right? Like, Stephen F. Austin says, oh yeah, one more thing, we want to be independent, and Santa Anna's like,
red flag.
Hell no. All right, so that was the main reason that we're down there. Okay, so Stephen F. Austin, he ends up writing a letter back to the Texas settlers, and he's like, okay, guys, we got to start getting our military together because we're acting nicely, and it looks like we're going to end up fighting for it. The letter gets intercepted, and Stephen F. Austin ends up in jail. Okay, yeah, he's in jail for like a year and a half.
Dang.
Because of this letter that he wrote, because he's conspiring against the Mexican government. Yeah, against the Mexican
Treason,
government.
Yeah.
All right, he eventually is going to get released, and he's pissed when he gets released. And at this point, you have a war about to happen. Okay.
Okay, so I don't know a lot about the Texas Revolution, to be honest with you. Didn't study it, not a fan. Whatever.
Okay.
So, like, are they supported, or, okay, no, let me backtrack. When Texas wants to declare their independence, do they want to be their own independent nation? Isn't that what it is? Like, they didn't actually want to be a part of the United States. They wanted to just be Texas, right?
That is a completely different story, yes.
Yeah, right. So, okay, so I just wanted to confirm, because I was like, I know a lot of people, that's like a sketchy thing, and I feel like I only remember
Texas
that
wanted to be its own independent country, and Texas actually wasn't their own independent country for about 9.5 years.
Yeah, I would say, I thought so.
But when we talk about the revolution, we talk about a few main things, okay? So we have the Battle of Gonzales that's going to happen. So pretty much at this point in time, Mexico is like, okay, well, we're about to be in a war, right? So Gonzales is a city that's probably about like maybe an hour and a half from Houston, from where we are now. So they have a cannon there, okay? The Mexican government has allowed these Texas settlers to borrow this cannon because back when, when they were on good terms, the settlers needed a cannon to defend their land from Native Americans, right? But now we beefed up, and I need my weapon back, actually, because you're not going to use it against me. You're not going to use it against me at all. So Mexico sends a small amount of troops up to go claim this weapon back. So the Anglos do not return this weapon. They lie. They say, oh, we don't know where your weapon is. And secretly, they're sending messages to the surrounding towns so other white people could come. And they end up attacking the Mexicans who had orders to not do anything violent. So only one person died. He was Mexican, but this is officially considered the first battle of the Texas Revolution because bloodshed happens, right? So Santa Anna gets this news, and he is pissed. He's like, okay, y'all don't want to give me my cannon? I'm pulling up with my army. So Santa Anna comes with his full Mexican army, okay? And this is an army that is trained, okay? They have just finished their own war, okay, themselves. So these are people that are disciplined and stuff like that. And he's on his way to Gonzales, okay, to get his cannon back, all right? On his way to Gonzales, he stops at a little fort called the Alamo, okay?
Long-lived Alamo!
All right. So at the Alamo, you have some people there, okay? At this little fort, they are there to defend this fort, and
what's the raccoon hat?
Davy Crockett.
David Crockett.
He was actually pretty famous. He's probably the most famous person that ends up dying at the Alamo.
I had a raccoon hat as a child.
Yes. Yeah. So, if he was on Instagram, he'd definitely have like that blue check.
Right, for sure. For sure.
Politician, all the things. Okay.
Tall white man.
Congressman. Yeah.
all those
whatever.
Things,
yeah. Santa Anna stops at the Alamo. He lays siege to it. So he surrounds the Alamo. He splits his army. They surround it. The siege lasts about 13 days. He finally breaks in. He destroys everyone. One thing about Santa Anna, he does not believe in prisoners at all. Okay, he is going to kill everybody. So everyone is killed and slaughtered. He does leave a few people alive. Strictly for the purpose of spreading the message, like, bitch, I'm here.
I'm about to say,
I'm here and I'm coming, okay? So, of course, there's going to be widespread panic, all right? So you're going to have something called the runaway scrape that happens, where pretty much citizens that are in Texas are fleeing eastward to go into Louisiana because Louisiana is like base. That's the safe area. That's the that's the United States. Okay. So you have all these people that are evacuating, and like they don't really have a lot of time. Like either like they are literally leaving with whatever they can bring. A lot of people are dying because they were not prepared to make such a long trip. So they don't have food, they don't have medicine, they don't have shelter because they're just on the road, right? At this time, Sam Houston is going to be put in charge of the Texas Army, if you want to call it that, because it's mainly volunteers.
I was about to say, yeah, it's more like a militia.
It's a little raggedy, right? So he is going to study Santa Anna, and Santa Anna is splitting his army. He's chasing these people that are, fleeing across the state, right? Sam Houston's going to send warnings out to all of his military people that are in various places, and it's like, hey, get out, like, you need to move, like, and his purpose in doing this is because he wants to be able to train, he wants to buy time to train his army so that they have a fighting chance.
Right.
And he also wants to be able to recruit people, so that he can have a bigger army, because one of the reasons that the Alamo fell is because they were outnumbered 3-1.
Right. Okay.
So, you have a place called Goliad, okay? You have this dude named Colonel James Fannin, who basically is hard-headed and does not listen. So Sam Houston tells him, hey, he sends a message like, hey, it's time for you to go. You gotta go. Santa Anna is coming, right? And James Fannin takes his time. He's like, okay, yeah, well, we got some troops out there doing a scout mission. I'm gonna wait for them to come back, all right? And he leaves a little bit too late, okay? He's going to leave, and he's going to get caught, all right? He is going to get caught, not directly by Santa Anna, but by one of Santa Anna's generals, okay? Santa Anna's general does not really want to kill him. He wants to actually, be diplomatic and treat them as prisoners of war. So he sends a message out to Santa Anna's like, hey, I captured him. What should I do? And Santa Anna's like, you already know what to do. Stop playing with me. And so, so they all get executed. James Fannin and about 400 men. James Fannin, it sucks because James Fannin is sat in a chair. He is the last person to be shot. So he literally has to watch all of his men get killed. James Fannin also asked for 3 things. He asked to be shot in the heart. He asked for a Christian burial. And he also had a few personal items that he wanted to get back to his wife and children. And so he asked for all of these things before he's executed. He gets shot in the face. He gets burned and thrown in a ditch, so he doesn't get his burial. And the Mexican soldiers that killed him stole all his personal items. So this is actually going to create a lot of resentment among the people of Texas, okay? So they're going to be pissed, and there's going to be cries of remember the Alamo and remember Goliad in particular, because these are 2 places where Santa Anna could have shown mercy, and he doesn't show mercy at all. So fast forward to the end of the revolution, all right? So you're going to have the Battle of San Jacinto, which is probably about maybe 10, 15 minutes from here, actually.
Literally down the road.
Santa Anna literally gets caught with his pants down because his army didn't expect to fight for until the evening. And Sam Houston actually launches a surprise attack while the Mexican army is mainly sleeping. So he launches it mid-morning. And he actually overwhelms, and he captures Santa Anna. So basically you have the end of this war because Santa Anna gets caught, right? And you have these 2 treaties, okay? They're going to be called the Treaties of Velasco. There's going to be a private one, and there's going to be a public one. Okay. And the private one is basically just between all the government officials that pretty much the only difference is that Santa Anna is going to be kept alive, or it's implied that he's going to be kept alive. And in the public treaty, it's implied that he's going to go back to Mexico and be executed. Okay. And this is going to happen because a lot of people in Texas are pissed off by Santa Anna, so they want him dead, which
fair enough.
Fair enough.
Bro was out here just
wilding.
All
right. So, but Sam Houston kind of realizes that Santa Anna is going to be more valuable to him alive. So that's why you have these 2 different treaties. The treaty is also going to set the Rio Grande as the boundary between Texas and Mexico. And Texas is going to be given its independence, if you will, okay? So Santa Anna is going to go back to Mexico. The problem is the Mexican government does not accept this treaty because Santa Anna had to sign it under duress as a prisoner. Right. So it's they feel Santa Anna didn't do this of his own volition. He did this because he was forced to. Yeah. So you're still going to have, for probably the next 10, 15 years where Texas is independent, you are going to have disputes and little skirmishes where Mexico is still beefing with Texas up until the point. up until the point of Texas being annexed into the United States, because then it becomes a United States problem.
Right, and y'all don't want smoke with that.
Well, they actually did want smoke because there's another war that happens, which is the Mexican-American War.
You're right, and I actually teach the Mexican-American War, so I should...
Yeah, but we'll save that for another time.
We don't really have time for that today.
We can do another episode of the Mexican-American War.
Right. My only snippet that I would like to add is the fact that they have that ginormous... I'm thinking of Sam Houston, actually. I was about to say Stephen F. Austin.
No, he's a Sam Houston. He's pretty... he was kind of problematic in a way, too.
I was thinking about their statues at their school. That Sam Houston one just scares me. And I was thinking Stephen F. Austin, but that's not true. So
I'll say this really quickly about Sam Houston. I'm kind of conflicted about him because whereas he did own slaves, it was said that he was a... kind.
And what does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
He also did free all of his slaves upon his death. He also did get kicked out of his government positions in 1860 because Texas was actually about to secede from the Union at the time, and he fought avidly against this happening, and so they kicked him out of his position. He also was really nice to Native. He also was really nice to Native Americans too. You know that his second wife was actually a Native American woman, which was not heard of during that time. The interracial.
We gotta cut him off.
Child. All right.
That's
anyways,
enough about Texas.
All right. Yes. I'm not from here, but I know about it.
Apparently, he know more than I do, and I'm a native. So.
Okay, it's cool. Well, thank you for listening in today on our episode of Tejas. All right. I am Brando.
I'm Mia.
All right, and we will catch you next time.
Peace.
Bye. What up? It's your boy, Brando from the Bando. Actually, I'm from the suburbs, not the Bando, but that's okay. I'm here to say thanks for watching the Polaris Network on YouTube. For exclusive shows and premium content, subscribe to the Polaris Network on YouTube right now. Seriously, what are you doing? Go subscribe. Go do it right now.